I watched your interview on Soft White Underbelly. You went into details about, your past traumas, and you went into details about, your history with escorting. You got 1.2 million views on YouTube, and a lot has happened since. You know what I'm saying? How has your life changed since that interview?
Um, I would say that obviously my privacy has been compromised to an extreme level. I understand that I do have something to do with that, but I've had people write me handwritten letters, like 2-page letters, saying that they just wanted to know who I am and just expressing their love and gratitude to me. I've had people find my phone number and contact me, and recently, a couple weeks ago, I had an incident where someone tried to, I believe, enter my home in broad daylight, and it kind of was very triggering for me. It's been very weird with people. It's been very weird to know that people know who I am, and some people have developed a slight attachment towards me and can't separate my YouTube interview with the fact that I'm an actual human being that has boundaries. And although I appreciate a lot of the love and support that I've been getting, I do have to express that if I haven't personally given someone my number or, something like that, I would prefer for the people to only reach out to me through social media. Things have changed in a way where I've had a lot more opportunities and people reach out to me to do like follow-up interviews similar to what I'm doing now with you. And thank you for finding me interesting enough to actually reach out and want to do something like this. So, I've been candid about the fact that I don't have media training or PR training or anything like that. This whole thing has been kind of just been thrown onto me in a way where I'm still trying to adjust. I'm trying to adjust with just speaking in general about my personal life, what all I should reveal, what all I shouldn't reveal. But I've been on several platforms and panels where I have overreacted to something. I'm not even going to say overreacted, but reacted to something instead of responding. So I've been trying this new thing where before I react, I try to stop and think about how I want to respond instead, because now I'm noticing that I have a brand and an image to uphold, and it's just been very difficult for me, to be honest. It's been extremely difficult for me to adjust to almost being infamous. I'm not
Okay.
sure if that's a good word for it, but it's been a very difficult transition. I will say that much.
Okay. So now, in the interview, you said um, you found out from your father that he left your mom because he wanted your mom to get an abortion, and when your mom didn't get an abortion, your mom had you. He left, right? Your
Yeah.
mom ended up passing away. Is your
Yeah.
father still alive?
Yes.
Do you have a relationship with him?
No, I don't. Every so often he may call and we may have maybe about a 30-second to 1 minute conversation. I don't know where he lives or anything like that. He's since the death of my mom, he's since then been remarried. I didn't really know about the wedding, as well as my other siblings on my father's side. We didn't really know anything about it. I believe that my father is somewhat socially disengaged. I think he's very different in the way that he chooses to socialize, especially with his children. Because I have several brothers and sisters on my father's side that I don't know and that I've never met. I did have the opportunity to have a conversation with my father for clarification to do some self-healing. I asked him why didn't he want me? Why didn't he want me, And he just kind of revealed to me that he had struggled with his own abandonment trauma where he didn't know his father, and his mom kind of dropped him off at his grandmother's house and left. So I believe that he didn't know how to be a father, even though that's not an excuse. I think that he just didn't know how to be a father because he never had one.
Yeah. Now, you also said your mom, right? You believe there was some type of resentment, right? Because, she lost her man in a way in relation to you being born, right? Did you have that conversation with your mom while she was alive, or this is something that you came to understand after?
This is something that I came to understand after she passed away. And just for the record, my mom was an amazing mother. She loved me. She loved me unconditionally. And when you don't have a mother's love, you can appreciate it more. So I do want to just have some clarification as to that. But I do think that she still had times where she may have been very annoyed that I reminded her so much of my father. So I think she may not even have consciously known that affected her, that I looked so much like my father, that I acted so much like my father. So gradually, as I became an adult, I did come to the conclusion, just based on some of my experiences with my mom, that maybe it's a possibility that she may have some resentment.
Yeah.
Towards me at times.
Now, at some point in time, like, she found a new man, and, you could feel the energy that she wanted you to move out and go be on your own. You know what I mean? She cut you off financially at some point as well, right? And that's what kind of led to the journey of you escorting, right? So do you think it's because of that resentment that's part of why she pushed you away?
No, I don't think that's the case. I think it was more so me just I don't know, I never thought about that. I think I just, at this time she was dating us about 18 or 19. I think that she just felt maybe it was time for me to move out and have my own life. Similar to maybe the movie Baby Boy, like when you get to a certain age, it's time to leave the nest. And I think her new love interest, I think she had spent so much of her life being a single mom. I had never seen my mom really actively date. So I think that she had spent so much of her life being a single mom and investing into us and loving us. I think that when she reached a point where she felt like she wanted to explore love again, I think she just realized that maybe I was at that age where I could start to develop skills on my own and go off on my own.
Yeah. Now, while you was in that space where you were escorting, right? In the interview, you spoke about how sometimes you'll be in the room and a guy will beat on you, and the person who's watching the camera may not be around, so the client will beat on you, and then you literally have to step away, distance yourself until maybe the person who is on camera come around, so that you can get out. You know what I mean? You spoke about how you sat on this guy's lap and he was like, yo, I rape women, I break women, but you're too pretty for me to bring you to my basement and do that to you. You know what I'm saying? You spoke about how you've been around guys who are murderers. You spoke about how you dealt with guys who are powerful, like police officers, where, it puts you in a lot of fear because you feel like they can do shit to you and get away with it. You know what I'm saying? So while you were going through all of that, what kept you still in that space of business, you know?
So just for clarification, I was when I had that incident take place where I was being beaten up by a client, I was dancing at the time. So
Okay.
I was doing this champagne room. So during that time, I wasn't like escorting. I was just kind of dancing. Um, I One thing that just kind of got me through, I would say, is I think that I was just so young that I didn't realize the kind of danger I was in. I don't think I realized the danger I was putting myself in. So certain things didn't register to me as serious because I was just young and I was just kind of just full of life, and I just was starting this new journey of independence where I didn't need permission to leave the house anymore. I didn't. Essentially, I was becoming an adult, and although I was becoming an adult, I wasn't one at that time. So I just didn't. I don't think I recognized consequences, and I don't think I was able to really balance that because I don't feel like I don't feel like I was fully developed into a woman yet.
Yeah. Now, you know, when you did the interview, you also said that that was the first time a lot of your family members heard about some of the experiences that you've gone through, right? You know, which is, you know, escorting, molestation, all of that, you know, like now that you are here and now they all know, you know, what has happened, do you regret doing that interview, or do you feel like you were liberated and maybe, you know, you have more of a purpose?
I feel liberated for sure. I feel like before I felt just very small and minuscule. I know that I have these deep, dark secrets that I never revealed to anyone, and I think for a long time, I think they were eating me alive. I think that I just was holding on to so much pain, and so I was just hanging on to so much pain and shame and regret from some of the sexual abuse that I just had so many questions about myself. I didn't really know anything. But I feel like once I did this interview, I was able to like breathe. I was able to I was just able to release all of the pain, all of the trauma. I was able to just say, this is what happened to me, and whoever saw it, whether it's my friends or my family. At that point, it was made known that these were the things I was suffering when I was a kid. So when my family and relatives probably remember like seeing me act a certain way or present certain behavior traits, they may have thought that maybe I was just rebellious, or maybe I just wasn't listening, or whatever. I don't think they would have ever imagined that these were some of the things I was going through as a child.
Yeah. You also said the first person that molested you, like they commented under the video, and then you were able to take advantage of that and confront them. So, like, what happened with that whole situation?
Well, I called her. I asked for her phone number and I gave her a phone call. And we really just had a deep conversation. I just told her the person that I was referring to in that interview was you. And I asked her, was there anything that had taken place with you as a child that you never shared that would have contributed to you abusing me as a child? And she went on to reveal the things that had taken place with her when she was a kid.
And are you able to forgive her, or you want your revenge, which will be understandable?
No, I don't want revenge. I haven't. I don't know if I forgive her yet, but I'm working on accepting the answer that I got. I'm working on just understanding that this is something that I have to accept. It's a part of me that I have to accept. So at this time, I don't think I've fully forgiven her, but I think I'm working on it. I think I'm beginning to understand things a little bit more. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. Now, you do the interview in February, and it resurfaced around this time, right?
Yeah.
And now you on social audio, and you know, we always hearing things, you know. So this interview come out again, you know. I reposted, you know. I take the full interview and I chop it down to give, you know, context so people know what it is about, and if they want to watch the full thing, they can go watch it, you know. But then your other secrets come out, so, and it all came out. It mainly came out because, you know, a part of it was out already, but it mainly came out after Chastity made a comment under the video. Now, here is a very traumatic story, and she comments that she don't give a fuck, like she don't want to see that shit on her timeline, like hashtag next. So now I want to know, like, because you've been around her. I'm not saying that y'all friends or whatever, but y'all shared spaces before, right? So I'm like, yo, why is she so mad at you, you know? And we come to find out that there's damn near a love triangle thing going on. That, you know, you and Khan have met in real life, and y'all had breakfast in bed, so we all know what the fuck is going on. You know what I'm saying? And Chastity found out because y'all was on a boat, and she saw you and him. She zoomed in, saw some shit, confronted the guy, and it's been up ever since, you know, because this is a guy that we don't know if we know they never met before, but we don't know if they're interested in one another. It's still not clear, right? But we know you and Khan, some is there, right? You know, we know that from y'all meeting up, okay? But Chastity and Khan, they building a brand together. And, you know, at first I'm like, is she the main woman and you the mistress? You know, but now I don't even fucking know if you are the main woman and she's the one trying to take your man away, you know? So I'm highly fucking confused. Can you tell us what the fuck is going on with this meta love triangle?
Well, I want to say, for clarity, initially, us doing this interview was supposed to have nothing to even do with them. Us doing this interview was supposed to be strictly about the video that had resurfaced of my Soft White Underbelly interview. And this is to just dispel rumors that, like, I was trying to out him or expose him, or I'm going on a tour to slander anyone. Initially, I have been working on this interview with other content creators on Clubhouse who wanted to make a room about me so that I can say who I was as a person, because all these rumors were popping up about my Soft White Underbelly interview and what my profession was 10 years ago. And in certain rooms, it would cause chaos because my opinions would be very different from everyone else's. So I have been working with others on speaking about my life and who I am. So as you stated, after that video was posted and she made that comment, obviously it opened up a different part of our interview that was added to what our original plan was. So this was not like a planned interview to take them down or destroy their brand or anything like that. Like I don't want it to be perceived that I'm looking to destroy anyone or to do anything negative to anybody. The truth is, I met someone on Clubhouse that I fell for. I felt like there was potential to possibly find love off the app. We hear stories all the time about people who meet on the app and they end up falling in love, and they get married or they get engaged or whatever. So at the time, I'm like, hey, I'm not necessarily against this. I felt drawn to him in a way because I just felt that we had a genuine connection. We had agreed that we would not bring this to Clubhouse, but gradually I started to hear my story being said around. People were kind of asking me certain things. People were telling me, oh, I know this about you, or you did this or you did that, and I didn't like it. I didn't like people having their own narrative about me and about me meeting him and taking it and creating something so ugly from something that I deemed to be so beautiful. Unfortunately, because of that, I chose to address it the other night in an interview with you. Since then, it's been chaotic. It's been very chaotic. I chose not to listen to the interview that they did together. I just chose not to listen to it. So I don't necessarily know what was said. I don't know anything.
Do you think what you think it is what he thinks it is as well? Because he lives in LA, you in Ohio, and you guys were talking about him moving from LA to Ohio. The only person that would do that is LeBron, and he got money, so he probably would be living in the best part of Ohio. You feel me? So was that realistic really to you? Like, did he lead you on, or were you leading yourself on? Like, we getting very realistic, you know what I'm saying? Because
I don't want to, this is the thing. I feel like it's a lot that, how do I say this? I don't want to dox him. So I think that there's things that people don't actually know to be true. But I will say that I was also open to moving out of Cleveland as well. So I don't think we were necessarily set on a specific place. But in reference to that, I'm just speaking on where I felt that we were moving towards developing a future together.
And you guys were direct with one another that y'all were building a future together.
Yes.
Okay. There was no lead ons, it was all verbally said, I want to be with you. You are a potential for marriage.
Yes.
You had this conversation with Khan. Multiple times.
I keep saying it.
No, I want to get y'all fell asleep on the phone together.
Why do you keep?
No, because
this is what I was
How
saying.
deep was this shit?
It was serious for me. It was serious as well for him. I told you. We said we would actually be saying that we loved each other. That's what it was. I felt that we loved each other.
So now, all right. So keep it real with me. Mm-hmm. Did you ask him about chastity?
Yes.
And what did he say?
His answer was the same, that he's been giving and that they've been giving together. He's single. He's not in a relationship. They're not together. I need to stop asking that because it's almost like I'm not believing him when he's telling me that he's single. So all I could do is accept that for what he said, that he was single. They've been saying it the whole time. So
But here's the thing though. Now, see, we got to be realistic now, right? So you talking to a man where y'all talking about marriage, y'all talking about I love you and all of that, right? And then there's another girl that's in the picture who don't like you, right? Everybody's assumption is gonna be like there's a love triangle, right? So when you asking him like, yo, what is this other woman to you? And he's saying, oh, I'm single. Is he saying I'm single and I can fuck with other chicks, so don't ask me? Or I'm single, like I'm not with her, but I'm single and you are who I'm pursuing shit with? Or I'm single and I could do whatever the fuck I want to do? You get my question?
Yes. It was more so put to me that he was single. We were working towards something, and that the desire was for me to not focus on the app and to not focus on the metaverse because it's not necessarily a real tangible thing. So at that point, I had made the decision to do that, to not try not to focus on the app, try not to focus on the surface level things, to try to focus on tangible, real things. And at some point in time, we both had discussed just not being on the app at all and having a period of time of just disappearing and just working towards something real.
Yeah. So now with all of that that's happening, right? And what has happened now, because I see him doing interviews with Chastity. So from the eyes and the ears, it sounds like he chose her. That's what it looks like, right? Do you think he's a player and you got played?
I don't know. I don't really know because I think it's a little bit more complex than what people perceive. I think that based on our conversation, I think that the way that this app works, I don't really know how to. I don't think that he's being a player. I think that I don't necessarily feel played. I feel like it's possible that he loves two people. I feel like at a time maybe he was not talking to her. Me and him got involved. Eventually, at some point in time, they ended up talking again or something like that took place. And I think that maybe he was just put in a position where he probably didn't want to choose, and he probably just decided to, as a single man, just maybe even entertain the both of us. I don't know because I'm not for sure. It's so weird because it's like she's saying that she's single and they're saying that they're single, and it just, I would think that two single people can explore other options. So I don't know. I'm just as confused as everyone else.
Let me ask you this. If he wanted to date both of y'all and he was honest about it, right? Would you be willing to date him while he's dating Chastity as well?
No, I don't think that I'd be comfortable doing that.
Okay. Now, I'm going to ask you a real question and let's see if you're going to be honest, okay? Are you in love with Khan? You said what?
I don't know.
You don't know? So like you're going through the emotions.
Yeah.
Okay. But you've told him your actual feelings. Cause this you gotta think about this, right? Sometimes and women are like this too. Their pride and their ego get in their way. So they're like, you know, this guy, this and that. So I'm not gonna tell him how I'm actually feeling, right? And he may not actually know how you're feeling. So do you tell him how you actually are feeling?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So he knows how you really feel about him.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now, to wrap this up, if you could say anything to Chastity, what would you say to Chastity?
I would say that I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to fight. I don't. This is not what I'm about. This is not what I do. So, in the midst of us both being intertwined with the same person, if there's things that I have said or lashed out in ways that were deemed to be disrespectful or rude or whatever, like I just wanna dead it.
So
I do want to say something.
go ahead.
I do want to say something because I always seek to be transparent and I always seek to be truthful and candid in situations like this. So I do want to say that I was in love with him.
You said you were or you are?
I was.
You were.
Yeah.
You think and you think you think it's you're not in love anymore?
I can't be in love with someone who loves someone else. I'm not going to do that to myself. So I'm just making a decision to step back and allow him to pursue whatever makes him happy. But I don't love him any less. I feel that there's always going to be a part of me that is going to love him. That's going to want to protect him. That's going to want to give him grace and not immediately just think that he's a bad guy out to get people or to get me or to get women or anyone else. I think that yeah, I think that's all I have.